Okay, this is Aaron again with Exalted Lamb 1. I have my next video out about this next time period I'm going to talk about. And again, like I've said many, many times, this is my hypothesis, or this is a theory at this point of this next time period, like it's always been. And I want to address one thing about people saying prophesying or whatever. Now, listen, yeah, I can understand what people might say because I have belief that each time frame I'm talking about is going to be the time frame that's these things are going to happen, and because I'm very confident and because I have a lot of information and I talk about confirmations, doesn't mean I'm saying it's going to happen. Like I've said, I think I've made it super clear. But for the very dense of you that want to accuse and attack, I make this super clear, and I'm going to make it clear again, just for your benefit. The naysayers, the naysayers I have, of the thousands I've had over the last year and a half, I make it extremely clear. And so what I'm going to do is I'm coming up with a new term. I'm calling it my grand guess. This is my grand guess for GG, because G is the seventh letter of the alphabet. So it's 7-7. Just like the elite used Gilbert Godfrey to talk about the Golden Gate Bridge, GG talking about GG, or 7-7 and 7-7. And wonder why that is. Well, I'm going to talk about some of that stuff about 7-7, and I have in the past. So this is my grand guess about the next time frame that could happen. Now, you can do whatever you want with it. You know, like I've said a thousand times as well, I don't know the future. So just to make it super clear to anybody who puts a comment about these kind of things, is negative, is mean, I'm going to delete it. I'm just telling you right now. So you don't even waste your time, because once you type that all out, I'm just going to delete it very quickly. I monitor this stuff. I talk about this stuff. I'm really kind of tired of the super religious, really. Most people, most negative stuff I don't care about. I mean, of course, I don't like the death threats. Of course, like threatening my family, my babies, things like that. Those are going, above the pale. But the things I want to talk about are, the super religious people. And I understand, you don't understand that your heart is darkened, that you've had trauma in your past, things have happened to you. And so because your heart won't budge in certain areas, then you have a certain view of things. That's most of us in a lot of ways. And that's the American way, where people don't deal with their past. They don't deal with what they've been through. And so that darkens your understanding. Now, I'm showing you things in this video and future videos and past videos that have to do with the truth. And the truth requires you to go through levels of change, deal with fear, overcome things in your life, okay? And if you resent that, you resent me sharing this, is because you've got stuff in your heart that you need to deal with. And Jesus is the answer for all that. So you can ask him into your heart if you haven't already, or if you already have and you've abandoned him, he can come back to you at any time, and you can get back with a relationship with him and knowing him. And he can help you with those things if you listen, if you're willing to be obedient and do what he shows you. So now that I'm off that, just deal with yourself, and then you won't be so angry and you won't attack other people. And I'm doing that as a service to the people who are negative and mean and even, threaten me and different things like that. It's because you have issues in your heart. And I'm just going to tell you that, and I want you to understand that. And I've helped people with that. I've been helped with that. I've been through many issues in my heart. And unlike most Christianity, unfortunately, okay, it's just really sad. And that's why God is going to take from the earth the people who have been following Jesus this whole time, and not the ones who are big babies, and they're the example of the different churches or types of churches or types of people in the book of Revelation, chapter 2 and 3. If you're not sure about that, don't know about that, read Revelation chapter 2 and chapter 3. That'll give you a good idea of the types of churches representing the types of people out there and what Jesus doesn't like. Okay, and that's his own words. So you can say whatever you believe. There's many places in the Bible that talk about where people are in their heart and how God's interested, and he's very passionate about taking people from being in a bad place in their heart to be in the best place of their heart. Okay, just like Jesus said, he came to heal the brokenhearted and set the captives free. So newsflash, we're all brokenhearted. We're all captives. And so we need to have a relationship with him to go through that and be healed and be changed, whether you believe in him or not. So hopefully someday you'll come to him if you don't know him, but he is the one that reveals these truths. And like I've said 1,000 times as well, he gives me tidbits, he gives me crumbs, he gives me breadcrumbs on the trail, or they're like pieces to a puzzle. And I'm guessing on how this puzzle comes together. I don't know. So people say, "Oh, Jesus didn't really tell you that because the time frame's not right." I've never said it would be. I've said that these things are going to eventually add up to the right thing. Okay, but they're pieces, they're clues to a puzzle. And if you can't understand that, I can't help you. You need to wake up and smell the brimstone burning right around you, okay? Because it's happening. Things are happening. The peace plan was just revealed. Coronavirus is on the move. Things are just really heating up. I mean, it is insane. So without any further ado, let me go on here. So I just want to make my point to the people who are negative and haven't really had anybody check them as far as how they are. So you need to be checked, and I'm checking you right now. And if that doesn't help you at all, then the world will check you. God designed the world to check you, because whatever you sow, you will reap. Let no man be deceived. Whatever you sow, you will reap. Okay, so what you're reaping will tell you what you're sowing. Just look at it. Look at or another way of saying it is Jesus said, "You'll know a tree by its fruit." Okay, so if your fruit is bad and smelly and stinky like mine was, then you need a savior. You need someone that is a heart physician to change your life, and he will help you if you walk with him. So now that I'm off my soapbox, let's keep going here. So here's iPad Goat. Like I said, it's very important to understand that this is as I've shared before, this is a timeline. This is several timelines all smashed together in all kinds of imagery that's on top of each other. There's many messages in each scene, but each scene in itself, each camera cut, in a sense, each edited cut is a timeline. Okay, and there's many timelines, and there is also imagery, symbols, meanings, all this kind of stuff. So I'm going to touch on certain aspects of this, and each video I touched on different things. Some things I mentioned several times to get the point across. Okay, but let me get into this here. So as far as this timeline, so I'm talking about when Lily, the character in the middle, drops the apple. She's pregnant and she's pained to be delivered, just like the Revelation 12 sign it talks about in Revelation 12. Okay, basically she's having a baby. That apple is Jupiter, and she's dropping the apple. And I'm saying it very possible it could be on February 2nd of 2020. Now, I've said many times, I don't really believe we're in 2020 yet. And I'm going to talk about that. Okay, and so February 2nd, 2020 breaks down into each 2 is 1 and 1. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So it's 11, 11, 11, 11. Now, is that familiar to anybody? I missed putting the slide in here now that I think about it. I was going to put in the slide that shows the Anthem Veterans Memorial that's in Anthem, Arizona, which is just right outside Phoenix, or right in Phoenix border or whatever, Phoenix, Arizona, as in the rise of the Phoenix. And then there's 5 pillars, and then on November 11th at 11:11 a.m., so 11:11, 11:11, the sun shines through these openings in these pillars, and it shines on the American seal, which is really, the eagle is really, just in case you didn't know, the phoenix is the rise of the phoenix. Okay, so that's what I believe that's showing. And there will be an 11:11, whatever date that is, and that has to do with this end times. And the beginning of the tribulation, the beginning of the end of the United States. And I'm saying that it might be February 2nd of 2020. So 2222. I mean, are you kidding me? Okay, so, and that's also the 33rd day of the year. By a big coincidence, right? Sure. Okay, so, and then the 39th day of the year, a few days later, apple's rolling. And again, the apple has a spot on it. On one side, there's a couple spots, but the main spot is, I believe, the sun, and as it's rotating, it's 1 day. And so it rolls and it hits the 7 on the 7th day, and that would be, according to this, would be February 8th of 2020. and it rolls across the 7 on the 39th day. And I'm going to talk about what the 39 is as well here. And then on the 8th day of the apple roll, it makes this 8. So the roundness of the apple added to the C, like I've said 1,000 times before, it seems like, makes an 8, and that's the 8th day. And then it rests against Obama's foot, and I didn't show that there, but because I've shown it so many times, and that is the 8th day, which in this situation from February 2nd, 8 days from there is February 9th, okay? And that's the 40th day. Now, 40 is very important for in the Bible. 40 is for like a trial or a testing time, that kind of stuff. So there's so much to that. And then we have 2/9 also is 12/9. Okay, and like I've said, February is really the 12th month to the elites. We're off by 2 months, like I've shared many times. Like September is really the 7th month, because sept is 7 in Latin, and then October is really the 8th month, and but we celebrate it we look at it as the 10th month. So that was on the Roman calendar. So when you get to December, that really means the 10th month, because decem is 10 in Latin, and that comes from the original Roman calendar. January is the 11th month, and then February is the 12th month. And very similarly, just like the elite have it, just like God, God set his calendar to start in spring, and roughly March time, depending on the moon and everything, but roughly March is the beginning of spring, and that's when the Roman calendar really starts, and that's the first month of the year, in roughly March, basically. So February is the last month, and that almost ends winter, close to it. I mean, winter goes until March technically, but anyway, so 12/9 is really February 9th. And so it would really be 12/9/2019, even still, because we're at the 12th month. Another way of looking at it is the 9th day of the 12th month, 2019. And so you look at it as like a mirror. You see, if you look at it as we're in the 9, you take away the slash, and then you look at 912, and then 2, take away the 0, 219. It's a mirror of itself. Okay, and I believe that was what's shown in the Economist Magazine 2019, as I've shown in many videos, several videos in the past. This may be it. It's some version of 912. Another way of looking at it is that 1299/12 was my, when you add, I've shared this before, when I added my water bill, that was the same amount 3 months in a row. This is a message from the Lord. My water bill in 3.5 years, going on 4 years, has never been the same amount twice. And during this time, when I was looking at possibly September of last year, I had this water bill, which I'm going to show you right here. This water bill was $39.12 3 times. Literally 3 times. That's impossible. And let me share again with people that don't know about how impossible that is. I live on a property that's shared with another. The water that I use in my home with my family is shared with the water that's used at a studio where people come in and out. It's a business, and there's thousands of people that come in and out. I don't know how many, maybe hundreds in a month, or maybe thousands. I don't know. There's a lot of people that come in and out of the studio, all kinds of families, kids, everything, and they use the water there for the bathroom and stuff, and all kinds of stuff, I'm sure. And we share. In fact, I pay the water bill for both properties, and then because that studio is so big and uses a lot of electricity, they pay the electricity for both places because they're on the same utilities. It's the way the land was zoned many, many years ago, and it's a really unique situation. And I'm super blessed to be on an 1.5 acre property and all this kind of stuff. I'm super blessed, and my rent, as you can see, with water, averages almost to $1,300, and it's a single family home on an 1.5 acres. I mean, I'm so super blessed. God is amazing how he worked this out. And before that, we were homeless for like 8.5 months. That's a long story. Anyway, so, but $39.12 was added to my rent, which is $1,260 every single month. It's $1,260. You added the $39.12, and that again, it was 3 times. So that ends up being my water bill was $39.12 3 times in a row. Again, no water bill has ever been the same twice. but 3 times this was 3912, and it just was sticking out with I was seeing all these 912s everywhere in gematria and all kinds of stuff. Basically, this is completely impossible. If you understand what this is, what I'm explaining, it's impossible. So when you add my water bill of 3912 to my rent, which is 1260, which is also 129 because 1260 is 126, and 6 is really a 9, so that's 129. Then you add the 3912 to 1260, you get 129912. And again, that's a mirror of itself. So that's 12/9, which this time is very possibly that's February the 12th month, the 9th day, and again the 9th day, the 12th month. So it's forward in a sense and backwards. It could also be looked at as the 12th day, 9th month, and backwards is 20, and the 0, you can take out the 0, the 0 would be right here, but 2019 this way. So it's a mirror. But it's looked at several ways. It's very bizarre. And you look at the rent, the water bill, and right here, this 12/9, 1 plus 2 is 3, and then we have the 9, so it's 39, and then there's the 12. I can show this so many different ways why this is very phenomenal if you understand numbers whatsoever. And then we have the 912. We actually also have 39 is 12. 3 plus 9 is 12, so we have 12/12. And I'm going to get into what 12/12 is. 12/12/12. Gosh, there's so many things in this, and it's just mind-blowing. If you understand how impossible this is, it'll blow your mind. And so God's pointing to me 12/9, whatever date that is. That's another one of these massive codes that I've been given over the last year and a half. Actually, to take that back, 5 years. Basically 5 years, roughly. 9/23, 8/11, 9/11, 6/23. All these different numbers that are in the elite's codes that have to do with each other, and they're hidden. Okay, so I made my point with that. Hopefully, so I'm hoping that this is the time that we're looking at here, and it's very possibly with what I'm going to share with you. So then the apple splits open on the 11th day, and again the 11 is on the leaf. That's 1/1, and plus that's how many rolls, and then it hits Obama's foot, and then it goes back and forth. Day 9, day 10, day 11, it splits. And then these two things represent 2 more days, and you have 13 days. And they love the number 13 for so many reasons. I'm going to talk about that more. But this half is February 11th, 2020, I'm saying, because on this side is Obama. Obama's from Hawaii. The apple represents the splitting of Hawaii as far as the volcano. I've shared that many times in my videos. If you haven't seen those, go watch those. And then on this side is the west, or the west coast and Hawaii. This is the east, because these are also 2 submarines right here. This is 1 submarine. His foot is a submarine, shaped like a submarine. This side is the east coast. So east coast would be 2/12/2020, and the west coast. So it'd be basically the same time, but 2 different time zones, as I've shared many, many times. It ends up actually being a little bit after 9 in Hawaii time, Hawaii Standard Time, and then 2 a.m. in New York. And then because iPad Goat shows, like a foot, and there's a toe that sticks up with a figure that's laying down, that's Nova Scotia, Canada, and that's still on the East Coast roughly, and that would be 3 in the morning. So it ends up being from Hawaii, New York to the very East Coast in Canada is 9/2/3. 9 p.m. in Hawaii time, 2 a.m. New York, and 3 a.m. 1 hour later technically because it's Canada, because Maine is connected to Canada, and that shows an iPad Go with the toe sticking up, and I'm not going to show you that right now. Anyway, it's 9/2/3 there. Okay, and that's also the 42nd day, and again, that's also the day, the 11th day is the 42nd day, and I'm showing as the 11th day is the 42nd day. Of course, that's the Obama's day, because Obama is, supposedly from Hawaii. And so that would be the 11th day would be Hawaii when it's attacked, and then the 42nd has to do with the 11th day. Oops. And then that, because Obama is the Antichrist, and so the 42 is in Revelation and about the Antichrist, being given power for 42 months. That kind of thing, 42 prophetic months. Anyway, and there's 42. So up here, like I said, February is really the 12th month. So February 12th, 2020 is really 2019. So it would be, and then 2019 is really 12, because 2019, okay, 2 plus 1, you don't count the 0, 2 plus 1 plus 9 is 12. So we have February is the 12th month, the day is the 12th, and then 2 plus 1 plus 9 is 12. So we have 12, 12, 12. Or 1 plus 2 is 3, 1 plus 2 is 3, 1 plus 2 is 3, we have 3, 3, 3. So it may be that people that have seen 3, 3, 3 many, many times like me over the last several years, that could be the time it's talking about. Again, that would be on the East Coast. That's the date possibly of the tsunamis on the East Coast. There's be tsunamis, mega tsunamis that are caused by Russian nuclear subs. Again, that's the predictive programming shows Russian nuclear subs using Poseidon nuclear missile torpedoes, I should say, hit both certain spots on both west and east. One is Hawaii, which is the Helena Slump, and caused the East Rift Zone to fall off the edge of Hawaii is where the apple actually splits. It shows the bottom of the volcano splitting off. All that land falls into the ocean, causes a mass tsunami, 800 to 1,000 feet high, goes across the Pacific, takes 4 to 4.5 hours to go across the Pacific, and hits the west coast. At the same time, the submarine is hitting Hawaii. There's going to be a Russian sub hitting with a nuclear torpedo. Wow, can I talk? Nuclear torpedo hitting Babylon Canyon, which is just outside of New York on the bottom of the ocean floor. Babylon Canyon hit a nuclear torpedo in Babylon Canyon, and that will funnel the most pressure towards New York, but hit the whole East Coast at the same time. So, wow. Sorry, that's a lot of explanation, but I explain it to some people who don't know what that is. So, and then, of course, 2 is also 11. So if we have 2, 11, it's really, and then we can also look at it as 2020. Still, again, there's difference between what it actually is and the symbolicness of it. So, but actually February 11th, 2020, just like I said, for the Super Bowl day, 2/2 of 2020, February 2nd, 2020, you also have 2/11, 2020. So that's 11, 11, 11, 11. Even still, so we have another 11, 11, 11, 11. So far we have 2, 11, 11, 11, 11s. Okay, anyway, and then 11 plus 11 plus 11 plus 11 equals 44. Wow, there we go. And of course, Obama's the 44th. He was the 44th. I mean, I'm calling him Stinky BO. So that's what his name is, the former press. Anyway, Stinky BO was the 44th. Okay. He's also the little 44 because Lucifer in English Gematria is 444. So he's the big 44. 444. And then he's a little 444, or he's a little 44. Little 4. Anyway, that makes sense. Okay. And then finally on February 14th, 2020 would be the actual nuclear attack. So we have the tsunamis a couple days before that, and then nuclear attack, which is represented by the flower and many things. And then, okay, so then let me show you this. So that's the 45th day of the, no, excuse me, a little bit of, that's the 45th day of the year. Okay, and again, 45 has to do, the Super Bowl is Super Bowl 54, which is 45 backwards. This February 14th is the 45th day of the year. This all has to do with Trumple and the destruction of America and how he's tied to all that. And that would be the 45, okay? 45th Pres of the United States, okay? And then, of course, February 14th is Valentine's Day, or something else called Lupercalia. There's so much to that. I'm going to get into my next video. This is part 1. Wait till you see some of the stuff I have for Valentine's Day, Lupercalia, and all that. And we have hearts and iPad Goat all over. We have hearts and iPad Goat. We have hearts and iPad Goat everywhere. And I believe I know what that means now. Really what it means. Okay, and I'm going to show you that here in the next video more. I'm going to break down the first time frame in this video and kind of give you an overview of this first video. Again, February, ultimately from the Latin Februarius, mensis, month of purification, to purify. Now we had January, like I mentioned, was the god Janus of transitions, beginnings and ends. And so that's going right into Februarius, or Februarius, or it's Februa, which is, I'm going to get into as well, which has to do with Lupercalia. It's really sick stuff, okay? And I really don't want to talk about it, but so the Lord wants me to share with people so they understand. But it's about purification. So purification, which has to do with ritual, sacrifice, because the purification only happens in the Bible in the past from blood sacrifice is a purification. Just like Jesus died for us so we could be purified before God, the enemy uses these ritual sacrifices and things as a sick version of purification that doesn't really do anything. It just gives him more power down the road and to do more evil and to grow his kingdom and everything, of course. Okay, so it's about, that's why he likes the red and white. Like with Aaron, he had the scapegoat and the sacrificial goat. So this sacrificial goat is represented by red, sacrifice, of course, blood, that's red, and the scapegoat is represented by white because he's let go. Also, when you sacrifice something, it becomes pure, or you do a sacrifice, of course, godly becomes pure, and so that becomes white. So red and white is purification and sacrifice, okay? And so it also has to do with February, has to do with, it also talks about it in here, with smoke or burnt offering, the smoking or the burning, okay, with fume, okay, it has to do with February. And then, so we're talking about in February, we were talking about these, nuclear stuff, from torpedoes causing tsunamis, and purification that way, but it's really through fire, because that's what a nuclear torpedo is. It's fire, basically, wrapped in a little tube. And then we have nuclear attacks on land and everything, and that's fire as well. So we have a purification, month of purification, okay, before their new world order, their new system that they're going to bring in order out of chaos. Then February also used to be the last month of the year, and this is more information on that in the Roman calendar, which is why it had the shortest number of days. That's one of the reasons, but there's other hidden reasons I'm going to talk about in the next video. Okay, so I'm going back to my timeline, and I'm revising my timeline. I'm going to show you this here first. So right here, we have the Great American Eclipse, okay, and that was 821. And then from there to the Revelation 12 sign was 33 days. That's important. But right in between there, from 9/9, which is the actual birth when Jupiter exited Virgo, was 9/9, 2017. And then 7 plus 7 days was the Revelation 12 sign, okay? But the actual birth was technically because Jupiter, because it's a representation of what the Bible says in Revelation 12, okay? That was 9/9. And then so from Revelation 12 sign to this Golden Gate alignment I've talked about in previous videos that I've discovered, which has the same planets that were aligned, 5 planets, the same exact 5 planets that were aligned, plus the sun, as in Golden Gate alignment. So that's exactly 777 days apart. And again, God's name in Hebrew looks like 777. Okay, so that would make sense that these two would be together. Golden Gate alignment was also on November 9th, which is backwards 9/11. That's not a coincidence. The Great American Eclipse, all the way to the Golden Gate alignment is 811 days. 811, they like this number, 811, all over the place. I've shared many times. They were represented by August 11th, or the 223rd day, which is 223. That's hidden code all over the place. Or 1123, I've shown many times. Okay, now this is really important. So this is referring now, I'm talking about this Great American Eclipse and how it relates to all this stuff I'm going to talk about. So the Great American Eclipse went through 7 Salems, okay? And that's really important. Was that a coincidence? This is a biblical eclipse. This is, of course, God's sign in the heavens, okay? It went through 7 Salems, and of course that has to do with Jerusalem, so the city of peace. So these cities of peace that are represent, they come from, the origin comes from Jerusalem, why they're called Salem in the first place. But the name Salem refers to Jerusalem and is evidenced by Psalm 76:2, which uses Salem as a parallel for Zion, the citadel of Jerusalem. Okay, now what's important with this? Well, there's 7 Salems. What does that have to do with anything? Well, the 7th Salem, all the 7 Salems, I believe, have to do with the 7 kings that are in Revelation 17. And we're talking about the 7 kings, okay? And they have to do with, I'm going to read this, prophecy of the 8 kings of Revelation 17, the 5 fallen kings, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, William Clinton, George W. Bush. Now, fallen means that they're not in office anymore. They're not king anymore. So if a king is not king anymore, he's fallen, okay? The 6th king was Barack Hussein Obama. The 7th king that continues for a short space is Trumple, okay? Trumple Thinskin, I call him, okay? So he's going to be, especially with this peace deal that just came out, it's the seventh, in a sense, peace president. Okay, starting with Jimmy Carter. He was the first peace president with Israel. Okay, Jimmy Carter was the first real one. Okay, that's what makes these kings line up this way. The peace agreements with Israel that didn't happen, the first five. And there was some versions of them that kind of stuck, but most of it didn't happen, okay? And then here he just reveals this one that just came out on the 28th, January 28th, okay? And then he's going to be for short space because that's going to seal his deal. It's going to seal his deal. And they know this. He knows this. And then for Stinky B.O. to come back on the scene, the eighth king who goes into perdition there, Mr. Stinky B.O., or this guy right here, okay? The beast, okay? He's the first beast, okay? So, and so because there were 7 Salems, that's the 7th king to talk about peace and to bring a peace solution, okay? And that's why that, why I went through 7 Salems, okay? So with that being said, now from the Golden Gate alignment, I'm saying to 2-9, which is when Trump will be possibly eliminated, is 93 days. That's a big number to the occult. In fact, it goes back to Aleister Crowley and all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to touch on some of that, why 93 is important. Or going from 9T03 to 93. It's a big number for them, the occult. Okay, so there's 93 days from the Golden Gate alignment to February 9th, or February, like I said, is the 12th month, so it's really 12-9, but I'm just showing it as 2-9 here. Okay, so, and then, so what I shared before was, there was I can't remember his name now, I think it's Mark something, but he did a demonstration about how on the dollar bill, and he was a Mason, okay, and he does a demonstration about how on the back of the dollar bill and on the front and everything, there's this Masonic imagery, especially on the back of the dollar bill, $1 bill, and how it means, this Roman numerals up here means this is 1776, and how when you separate it into 3 pyramids, it ends up being 777, and then on the bottom is 666, okay, and 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18, 1 plus 8 is 9, and then 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 21, 2 plus 1 is 3. So on the bottom you have 9, and then at the top you have 3. And they want to go from 9 to 3. From 9 to 3. That's why 93 is very important. And a lot of they're called, and then we know about Flight 93 from 9/11. Okay, and this is a monument that was made recently in the last few years. Tower of Voices is called, inspires healing and contemplation in the remembrance of 9/11. Ridiculous. I mean, this is actually erected there, and this is very crazy when you think about this. This has to do with commemorating Flight 93 and the 40 heroes on Flight 93. So we have 13 years after it was conceived, the third phase of the Flight 93 National Memorial is a milestone dedication of a 93-foot tower with 40 unique chimes. Now, this is insane, okay? I don't know if you remember, but I was talking about February 9th being the 93rd day from the Golden Gate alignment, and then it's the 40th day of the year. Look at this. From the Golden Gate alignment, it's the 93rd day, and it's from the Golden Gate alignment, and it's the 40th day of the year, February 9th. And look at that. And literally, they have the 2 numbers right there. Flight 93, 93-foot tower with 40 unique chimes. Is that a massive coincidence? I mean, you decide. It's very bizarre to me. Okay, so there's a lot with 93 going on. So, and that has super spiritual meanings as well for many things I'm not getting to right now. So is 39. 39 is a big deal. And by the way, 39 was my, remember, the day before the 40th day was 2/8, February 8th was 2/8 or 12/8, and that was the 39th day. So 39 is 93 backwards. Remember, my water bill was 3912. I mean, there's so much to this. You got to think this through a little bit. because it's very deep. This is very deep. Whether this is the time frame or another massive ritual, bunch of rituals and time frames to signal the real time frame, it's hard to say. I just don't know. But the massive connections that I have again are huge. And so these are more rituals to finally get to the real thing, or these are the rituals that take us right into the actual attack days, February attacks. Okay. And again, check this out, from the Great American Eclipse right here to this day I'm saying, which is actually this day, like I said, if it's 12/9, which is really 12, it's 3/9 or 9/3 backwards, and it's 93 days from the Golden Gate alignment to this day, and from the Great American Eclipse to this day is 903 days. Take the zero, you have 93 again. I hope this is blowing you away, because this blew my mind when the Lord is kind of leading me through some of this stuff. And whether it's the actual attack days or not, it's this massive web of all these rituals and all these meanings that will eventually initiate into an actual set of attack days. Okay? And I'm saying it's very possible this time frame. Okay, now I want to hit the coronavirus. Why this relates to this as well. It's very bizarre. Okay? There's so many things in this, and the Lord's brought some of this to my attention recently, and I was just kind of blown away. In fact, the Helio font that did iPad Goat, if you notice, in their logo is the eclipse. And the thing about an eclipse, there's the annular eclipse, and then there's a normal eclipse that completely covers the sun. And what do you see when that eclipse happens? You see the corona. Okay, and a corona is another word for crown in Latin. Again, they love Latin. We were talking about, the months of the year and everything. Februarius is Latin. January from Genesis, Latin. I mean, from the Roman calendar, it's all Latin. It's these people like to harken back to the old sick stuff. Anyway, so well, it's old symbology and symbolism and everything. So, and then we have this reminded me, the coronavirus reminded me of I kind of cut this off. I didn't realize that, but the Obamus coronatus, an organism from the Precambrian eon named after Obama, just to they're saying it just so we're just honorarily naming it after Obama because he's a great guy, but and they're calling it Obamus coronatus. You see the corona in there, corona, okay, corona, and corona means crowned, okay? So a coronatus means crowned. So Obama crowned is what this little fossil thing that they found really means. The actual Latin, there's a Latin again, Obamus coronatus. So Obama crowned, or the Antichrist crowned. Okay, are you kidding me? Stinky BO is more evidence that he is the Antichrist. I have so much. Now I have almost 400 just amazing reasons why he is the Antichrist, and nobody comes remotely close to him being the beast, the Assyrian, everything else. It's nothing, nobody. As I've proven, and I've shared a lot of these little things in all my videos for a year and a half. And then look at the C. See, these are two different words, okay, right? Corona, virus. Okay, so they have this. Again, these guys are Kabbalists. They believe in Kabbalah. They believe in the merging of numbers and letters and hiding all kinds of power and meaning in numbers and letters. This is where they get all this stuff, and they hide all this stuff in these numbers, in the letters, and in the phrases and the words and everything. It's really crazy. So when they usually combine words, not only do they mean something together and separate and things like that, but they also a lot of times, like I said earlier, Gilbert Godfrey, Golden Gate Bridge, and those are example of two GG words with another two GG words, which is 7777. So Gilbert Godfrey was talking about the Golden Gate Bridge. I mean, seriously, if you know about that video where he was talking about it's going to be attacked, and it was just predictive programming for what's eventually coming to the Golden Gate Bridge, and the United States, of the tsunamis that are going to basically hit the Silver Gate on the East Coast, which is the Brooklyn Bridge, and the Golden Gate on the West Coast, which is the Golden Gate Bridge. And as those tsunamis hit, they're going to basically fulfill the opening of the Golden Gate and the Silver Gate by those being smashed and destroyed, with everything else, with all the East and West Coast being destroyed, and Hawaii and everything. Okay, but if you look at just these separate words, and then they use the first letter, like I said, Gilbert Godfrey is GG, Golden Gate is GG, and they sometimes even do it with different letters or different first letters. So, for example, Corona is C, and it's another word is virus, so that's CV. Where have I been talking about CV? Remember um, the ships, the aircraft carriers were CVN 3225. There's 322 again. They want to throw this out there. And what's 322 again? It's Skull and Bones 322. Okay, is this going to cause death? Is this causing death? Yes, the Skull and Bones just happens to be 322 coronavirus. Give me a break. Give me a break. I hope you're seeing this. And even more than that, what I wanted to share with you, besides all these different connections, check this out. Coronavirus in very common messaging in English gematria. So English simple gematria is A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3. English gematria is every letter. So A equals 1, B equals 2, every letter is times 6, because, Antichrist is about sixes, 666 and everything. So A is 6, B is 12, C is 3 times 6 is 18. So English gematria is 930. Remember the 93? Remember the 93 from the Golden Gate alignment to the 39 day, which is 12-9? And I mean, are you kidding me? Hopefully you see this. This is mind-blowing, really, because there it is. You got from the Great American Eclipse to this day of 12-9 or February 9th is 903 days. From the Golden Gate alignment is 93 days. 93, 93, 93, 93. Things I'm showing you. Coronavirus equals in English gematria, which they use so much. They use a ton. I've shown in many of my videos. Is 930. You take the 0 away because they don't count zeros. It's 93. I mean, are you kidding me? Hopefully you're getting this. Hopefully you're getting this, because at the minimum you're seeing how they completely control everything. And I'm going to show you how they control sports and everything even more than I have in the past. Okay, so from there as well, so we go past the February 9th to February 12th. Okay, so then we have another, it's like 5 more days to the 14th, and that's, I'm saying, possibly the birth. And then, of course, from 2-8, which is really 11, okay, let me say this right. So 2-8, February 8th, was really 12-8. So if you think about 12, the 2 in 12 is really 1 and 1. So it's 1-1-1-8. And then the 2 in 12-9 is 1 and 1 as well. So it's 1-1-1-9 as well. And like I've shown in iPad Go, those codes of 1-1-1-8 and 1-1-1-9, we're showing possibly the expiring of Stinky BO on 1-1-1-8, and possibly the expiring, or more likely to me, the expiring or the eliminating of Trumple. And so I have Prez deaths right here, 2-8 and 2-9, or 12-8 and 12-9, or 1-1-1-8 and 1-1-1-9 right here, these 2 days. And by the way, it would be likely retaliation, as explained by the media or whatever, from Iran for the 2 of their top people being eliminated. Remember? I mean, Soleimani and the other guy, I mean, are you kidding me? And those are 2 of their top people, so they're going to take an eye for an eye. They're going to take 2 of our either former or current top people, okay? And that would make sense why they would do that. And that's all set up. This is all set up for that. And they're twin attacks and all this stuff. Now, I'm still not sure about the carriers, even though I think they're still going to be attacked, because I believe it shows that. Now, there's a small chance by prayer and me bringing this out and many people praying. I'm not saying I'm just one small part of it, but praying, a lot of people praying, people bringing this stuff out. A lot of my videos were posted on Twitter and on YouTube, and altogether probably 10 to 15,000 people seeing this information. And maybe with all this other prayer and people seeing this stuff, it stopped. But I doubt that. I think somehow they're still going to be attacked. But I'm looking at considering the possibility that the Truman and the Abraham Lincoln attacks may have been stopped, but I don't think so still. But I don't know. I'm entertaining that possibility because things could be changed. But I think the big things eventually that will happen will not be changed. They could be put off in a way as well. And this could be what's going on as well. But logic doesn't dictate that to me. It doesn't say that I have a lot of this power by revealing these days and that puts them off. Um, or I'm not saying me, I'm saying what I do, and then other people as well, and all these people seeing this thing ahead of time could stop these things or delay these things. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not inclined to give myself that much power, really. So moving on here. Hope that makes sense. Okay, and then from also the birth of 9/9. Okay, like I said, 9/9, Jupiter exited Virgo on 9/9/2017, all the way to February 14th is 888 days. We have all these really important numbers in here. It's really, and they're biblical numbers. It's really crazy. Okay, check that out. It's really mind blowing. So, and then from the Golden Gate alignment, okay, to 214 is 7 plus 7 weeks. Over here we have 7, so this is could be balanced in a sense. We have 777 from the Revelation 12 sign, the Golden Gate alignment, because these both relate to each other because they have the exact same 5 planets and the sun in both of their alignments, or both of their configurations here. And then on this side of this, you have 7 plus 7 days. On this side, you may have 7 plus 7 weeks, as God's showing about the 7 weeks that are coming, 7 weeks of years, which is the tribulation, possibly. I'm just saying, it's very possible. Okay, so on that 7/7, there was on January 28th, there was this massive earthquake, 7.7. And I hope some of you noticed that. 7.7, are you kidding me? What are the chances of that? It would be 7.7. I've been talking about 7/7 so many times. In fact, I just said Gilbert Godfrey, Golden Gate Bridge, Golden Gate, Gilbert Godfrey is 7777. I mean, they've been talking about this for a long time. They've been ripping off God's numbers that I've just been showing you from this timeline. And here's this earthquake. Now, this is crazy. Wow, this is all planned. People think that this is maybe God did this or whatever. I guess you could say maybe he did it through permission, or in a sense, the enemy, him allowing it through what the enemy's doing in a sense, but it's all free will and everything. And I don't give God the credit for what the evil the devil does. I'm different than a lot of Christians, so I don't give God credit for what the devil does. I think Jesus made that clear, that the thief cometh not but to steal, kill, and destroy. But he says, I have come that they may have life and they have it abundantly. So he made it clear what the Old Testament couldn't make clear, for numbers of reasons. So God took the responsibility for his time until Jesus could come and say, hey, listen, God's not killing all these people. Devil is, and I'm coming to change it. So people that don't understand that need to wake up and not blame God for what everything the devil does, because there's free will involved. There's all kinds of legal things going on that God's not the cause of it. In a sense, he allows it because he has to, because it's free will and everything. And that's just a big, huge subject for me, for people. And a lot of people believe stuff that the Bible doesn't even say. And they just go by what they're taught. And churchianity strikes again, many ways. So on January 28th, just after the peace plan rolled out, just after Trump rolled out this peace plan, the 7.7. Now, let me show you the significance of this, because this is all planned. Like I said, they have earthquake devices. I've shown it. There's evidence. There's patents on this stuff. They can have devices that can move lava. They have crazy technology that most people have no idea. I've shared all the evidence in past about how they do hurricanes, start them and stop them and move them wherever they want, pretty much, for all their plans. I mean, weather warfare is on. It's been on for a while. And all the fires in Australia, California, all this stuff, it's predictably programmed in many movies. It's shown so many places. It's insane. Let me show you the evidence of this. This was predictably programmed in the Gematria alone. There are 2 main fault lines that form the Cayman Trench, which is mostly on the Gonave microplate. The earthquake today, this is out in the 28th, happened along the Orient Fault Zone, northwest of Jamaica and southwest of Cuba. It's a strike-slip fault, much like the San Andreas. Now, this is very important. Okay, so there's the spot roughly where it happened. Okay, and it's exactly the exact distance from here to there, from there, Cuba to there, and from Jamaica to there. In fact, both distances, they said, were 80 miles. I mean, what is the chance of that? Are you kidding me? That's, by the way, that's 88 or 88. So we not just have 7-7, we have 8-8. And they love this stuff. They love ripping off God's numbers with their own sick numbers about what's coming and different things and earthquakes and all these different so-called organic natural disasters and stuff. It's all planned. I'm not saying everything is, but a lot of it is. Okay, let me show you. This is crazy. So it's right between Cuba and Jamaica, exactly between. So I just put in Jamaica and Cuba, and again, this was an Israel peace plan that happened. Trump put out, and then just literally right after this happened, in right between Jamaica and Cuba, and that is in Jewish ordinal, which has to do with Israel. Jewish ordinal is 7-7. And how did I know to even try that? Because I know how they do stuff. The fact that I knew to search that, look at that up, and do it that way is evidence that they're predictable. I could just do, hey, let me check that out, Jamaica and Cuba, and put it together, and it would be right in between Jamaica and Cuba, and there would be 77. And that's not it. If you think that's just a freak coincidence. No way. Try this. Okay, look at that. Gonave microplate. Okay, now check this out. Gonave microplate in full reduction gematria is 7-7. And that's not all, folks. Gonave microplate in single reduction, these are some of the top ciphers in gematria. Jewish ordinal, full reduction, and single reduction is Gonave microplate 7-7 again. Because all these people, the people who do this, they have this power and they're able to manipulate this stuff. They are Kabbalists. They believe in the power of the number in the letter and what all this stuff portends and how it's directly related to Israel and all this other stuff that I'm talking about. Okay. And the Golden Gate alignment and all this kind of stuff and the signs in the heavens. Okay. Is that not evidence to you? This is impossible for this to be this way. Okay. Now back to this thing again. Check this out. Now from conception, like I said, when Jupiter entered Virgo on 11/20 of 2016, all the way to February 14th, 2019, I'm saying, or you can look at it as 2020, or 12/14, 2019, or 2/14, 2020, whatever, is 1,181 days. Why is that important? Why is that a big number as well? Because another way of looking at it is backwards is 1811, okay? And that is 1811, okay, which is 1118, like I said, about February 8th is really the 12th month. So if you look at 12/8, again, like I said, the 2 is in 12 is really 1 and 1. As I've shown in February 2nd of 2020, that's the 2s are really 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, right? So in the 2 and 12 is 1, 1. So 1811 is also 1118. Just how you manipulate the dates backwards and forwards, okay? And then 29 is 1119, okay, like I've shared as well. And by the way, I forgot to put this slide in here, but someone in my comments pointed this out from last video, but there's a gun that Jesse James made for Trump, and a gun like he's going to get, and then the people that they highlighted on the USS Abraham Lincoln were called shooters, and they put their hand out and their fingers like a gun, and then which is crazy. Anyway, Jesse James had this 45, which is, of course, that's obvious because they did that on purpose. 45 for President 45, right? But it's the 1911 version of the 45 caliber gun, and even the number of the gun is 1911. It's called, or 1119, which is crazy, and it's tied to 45. Even the caliber and also the numbers in the gun equal 911. I mean, it's just like, what? And then 1119 is also 9/11 backwards. Again, that in 1811 is 1 + 8 is 9, and 1 and 1 is 11. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, I couldn't make all this stuff up. I can't. I'm just trying to crack these codes and figure out all these codes. See, all these codes eventually will add up to something that will happen. It's trying to figure that all out. This is like the biggest code crack in history. And I'm trying to crack the biggest. I mean, it's literally, it has duped billions of people, including not just Americans, but people all over the world. All this stuff is duping people, and it will dupe billions of people into taking the mark and believing that all this chaos that's happening is because of natural disasters and everything, when they're doing most of this stuff. I mean, it's fooled the masses in mass, and it's a code. All these are codes for their secret underground hidden agenda, that if everybody knew this, they wouldn't buy any of it, and they would reject it all, and then we wouldn't have a one world government that's coming, and they wouldn't believe all these natural disasters. They know that they're creating them, they're causing them, and they were looking at the patents that they're been putting out there for many, many years of all the things they're doing, and that would prove it. But people believe the false narratives that are put out there in the media and everything else, and being programmed, predictively programmed right into their false future. An unorganic false future controlled completely, like the coronavirus and everything else. It's crazy. This stuff is nuts. As far as the coronavirus, whether you believe it's kind of contrived or whatever, yeah, it's all contrived. Yeah, it's all contrived. Sure, of course. Yeah, I believe there's people that are dying as well, and it's contrived. And let's just say it's all contrived. Let's say there's no people dying. It's all for fear and everything anyway. So it doesn't matter. Does it matter if there's actually people dying or not? People believe it. Masses believe it. They're going to go towards control of everything. I said months ago, in a few videos, that they have a virus. They're going to have a virus that is transmitted before anybody knows it, and so they can basically they're going to do that on purpose, so they can basically plant it anywhere they want, anytime they want, because they can just say that, hey, this thing just popped up and we didn't know because nobody could detect it, and then no one was getting any symptoms till it was too late. They already popped up in another place, and they've already infected many people already. I mean, I talked about this months ago. It's crazy. You just got to think like an evil jerk, and you can figure out how they do this stuff and what they're doing. You can think of like the most sinister, evil person, and just think like them a little bit, and then you can figure out what they're doing. I mean, make good evil, evil good. Make the good guys look like, the bad guys look like the good guys. I mean, everything you can think of to do people, do the rope-a-dope, have them focus on one thing and have them focus on the left and hit them with the right. I mean, the Hegelian dialectic, all these kind of things, pit groups against each other. I mean, think of the most evil things you can do, and that's what the elite are doing, and they're doing it better than anybody else. That's why they're winning right now in the world. Ultimately, God will win. Ultimately, the Lord is winning in certain people's hearts and things, but the enemy is being successful in a lot of ways. And it's our job to stand up against him and revealing the evil that he does, like in Ephesians 5:11. 5:11, right? Ephesians 5:11. Expose the evil. Okay, speaking of that, I'm going to talk about 5:11, but right now I'm talking about 5:10. So May 10th, down here where I just showed you, May 10th, my twin boys were born. And I believe to this day, not only do I know what their birth means, many ways, it's the twin birth, it's just a symbol of the yin and yang birth, of the evil birth of the Antichrist on the earth. At the same time, the man-child, like in Revelation 12 sign, is born into heaven, representation, born into heaven at the same time, simultaneously. Basically, the man-child will technically be birthed up. So the devil will be cast down, probably technically first, Lucifer, and removed of his power, the prince of the power of the air, and this probably in just split seconds or moments or whatever, and then the rapture of the faithful would go up, and then Lucifer will be cast into Barack Obama, and then he will be revealed as the Antichrist or just after, split seconds, or who knows, right after the man-child is birthed into heaven. The good body of Christ, or the bride of Christ, I should say. However you want to look at it, the man-child or the bride of Christ, either way, okay? But my twins, their meaning is multifaceted. It doesn't mean one's good and one's evil, whatever. But I forgot to put a slide in here. showing the 3D ultrasound that I first saw, which they looked like yin and yang in the womb. It's just crazy. They look like yin and yang. One was even darker, and as far as shading and everything, the other one's lighter. They look like a yin and yang symbol. It's really bizarre, but that was showing that. And I believe since that, way before they were even born, that God was showing me. I was talking about twin births before I even knew my kids were going to be twins, which is really freaky if you think about it. And I've been talking about twin birth because the Lord has been showing me that. And I believe that their birth would have to do with maybe showing when this is going to happen, when our birth is going to happen, the faithful. So this may be it. This may be the answer. I already know one big thing I'm going to share with you in a second that I know about it, but I'm going to share for the exact timing maybe. So May 10th was when they were born. And there's my twins, and I'm guessing if this is the day of this birth, of our birth, or the faithful into heaven here, then this time frame in between here, it represents something. So I'm going to get into that. Here are my twin boys. They're going on in another 9 days. They'll be 9 months old. That's crazy. They're a little over 8 months old now, and they're awesome. They're just sweet. They're a lot. They're a handful. If you ever had twins, oh my goodness, a lot. And I have 2 other kids, so a lot going on in the household. But we have this thing where we put little cushions on the bottom of the sink, and then they have a sink bath. It's really cute, super cute. I had to share this with you. And these twins of mine, they're just so awesome, and they're such a gift from God, but they're also an example of what's about to come. And they may be an example of timing, possibly, but they're definitely a message. I'm going to share the message that I got from the Lord months ago on this, even before they were born, the message. I'm going to share that with you here in a second. But if you look down here, there's my twins down here, underneath here. I can't bring this thing all the way down. My twins, and then 280 days from May 10th to February 14th is 280 days, which is 40 weeks, which is the average human gestation period. It just happens to be. So it may be, it may not be, but it just happens to be 280 days. So I'm thinking my twins could be a very amazing message of the birth of the man-child into heaven, and unfortunately the Antichrist birth on the earth at the same time. So a twin. Again, we're talking about twin attacks, twin this, twin that. It's all over the place. It's everywhere with the twin stuff. I mean, even the aircraft carriers, there's 2 of those, and all that kind of stuff. There's so many twin things that they're putting off in the media and everything. It's just crazy. So let me talk about this with my twins. The license plate of TWO511. So this was months before we knew we were having twins at one point, and I saw the ultrasound and everything like that. And then there was a little bit after that, I saw this license plate. I was driving around, and I saw this license plate, and it said TWO511. And it just stuck out for me. You know how God just sticks things out for you at times in different ways. And sometimes a license plate will stick out, or a number or something, or even a person or whatever it is. It said TWO511. And I'm like thinking, is that my twins? 2 will be on 5/11. Well, could it be May 11th? And I knew our due date was roughly around May. It could be late April, early May, into mid-May, possibly. Depends on if they're late or early or whatever. And so I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Is that what you're saying, Lord? Are you saying 2 on 5/11? And so it's kind of crazy. We had actually my sister-in-law come out and stay with us before the birth to help out and make dinners and different stuff to help out. She was very much a blessing. Thank you so much for all your help. I won't say your name, just for your benefit. But she was such a blessing for almost a couple months, I think it was, or a month and a couple weeks, I think it was. I was trying to remember exactly. And then she was here after it, and she was helping while they were kind of getting acclimated with sleeping and different things. And she was such a great help. But even she and, my children and my wife and other people, other family members, they all guessed as far as when they would be born. And I threw my guess in there of 5/11 because I felt like the Lord telling me, I said 5/11 is very possible. And they ended up being born on 5/10. However, they came home to their house from the hospital on 5/11 the next day. And that was incredible to me because that's when we're going home. I would believe it's represented. Now I'm going to show you why this is really crazy. So, and several reasons why. So in Strong's Concordance in Hebrew, 5:11 is El Elkanah. Elkanah is that how you say it? Elkanah. So that's how you say it. Elkanah. God has created, or God has taken possession. Okay, and then it's crazy because in Hebrew, and then I looked at it in Greek, and it's and Anoteros is how you say it, and it means higher or a more honorable place. So basically, what this message is saying to me of 5:11, and that's exactly when they came home, May 11th, when they came home, and that's represented when we're going home, when we're birthed into heaven, the faithful that are following Jesus, that know Jesus. God has taken his possessions to a higher place, is what that is saying. And it blew my mind what the Lord was showing me. Hopefully that blows your mind. And I'm sharing this with you to just help you. And, we're getting closer and closer to this time. And that's what people are looking for. It's like we're just, struggling between the destruction that's coming and people's lives and us being redeemed. And then the ones that know, the ones that are going to fight, we're going to be sent back. That's in Old Testament and in the prophets and everything. And I even leave a link in the description box. You can see a lot of the Old Testament scriptures and New Testament scriptures about how the faithful will become Jesus's arrows and come back and redeem people for the great harvest during the tribulation. A lot of Christians don't know that. Anyway, I also want to mention how 5:11 is also in Back to the Future, okay, or 11:5, both ways. So Back to the Future, like I've sharing a few different videos, Back to the Future, which has to do with the time portal when we're going to be leaving, opening of the golden, the silver gates. The enemy is going to be kicked out through the silver gate. We're going to go up, the faithful in Christ, through the golden gate, and that's what they're signaling in everything. All these different things I've been talking about, and a lot of the stuff in the media, even the aircraft carriers, the Lincoln and the Truman going through the golden gate and the silver gate. In fact, the Truman's hanging out right now, right near the silver gate right now, which is not a coincidence. As far as it's a physical representation on Earth of the celestial silver and golden gates in the heavens. Okay, and so look at November 5th, 1955, from Back to the Future. So 11:5, and then 19 is 1 plus 9 is 10, and 55 is 5 plus 5 is 10. So you take the zeros away, and you have 11, 5, 11. Now it's a mirror, and 5 is in the middle. So you have 11, 5, 5, 11. Two ways of looking at it. So that has to do with the date. That somehow it has to do with the date we're leaving. Well, it just so happens to kind of match what I'm saying, because 11 is 1 and 1 is 2, and that could be February. And then 5 could also be 1 and 4, which is Valentine's Day is 1 and 4 is 5. So it could be that, but it also is 5:11, which is when my sons came home. My twins came home, 5:11 or 11:5. I think that's what it's pointing at. It's a mirror. And another example of, in the Back to the Future, there's several mirrorings of things, including on the DeLorean. I took that thing back out, but on the DeLorean, in the front of the DeLorean, it's DeLorean Motor Company, and DMC, but it looks like a C, because there's a mirror in the center right here, and this is exactly mirrored. Okay, and they've done this many times in Back to the Future and many other things. How these guys are doing things. I got to go back to this. Oop. And I don't know. I guess I missed putting this 11 here. Anyway, but it's 11-5-11, or DMC is really DeLorean Motor Company, or corporation, whatever. It looks like a backwards CMC. Okay, and that's mirrored because it's mirrored right in the center where the M is. It's a mirrored look, and that's an example of how this is really 11-5-11 as well. And it's showing possibly, it's really showing 5:11 or 11:5. Okay, one of the two as being a representation or code for the actual day of this transition, or the end of the age of grace and the beginning of the tribulation, and us leaving and everything. So anyway, back to that. So then back to the first day of this timeline I'm saying, which is 2/2/2020, February 2nd, 2020, which is the 33rd day. And of course, 11/11/11/11, which is 44. The Super Bowl, the contrived fake sports all professional sports and a lot of other kinds of sports are faked. If you don't know that by now, the evidence is out there. I mean, it's really, you can look it up on different people that do this stuff with gematria and everything. It is so fake, it's not even funny. And I'm going to show you more examples of how especially professional sports is so fake, so contrived, so ritualistic, and all these symbols and everything for what's coming. It's crazy. And it's right in front of your face, right here. For an example from the NFL of this scene right here, of this example here. Why? Because red and white. I talked about red and white. Red and white is sacrifice. White is purification from blood sacrifice. And both of these are red and white, or either way. Red letters, white background. White letters, red background. It's just crazy. Red and white is sacrifice. Just like the store Target is red and white. The bullseye is the place where they put the sacrifice on the bullseye, which was Moloch, which is the bull. The sacrificial, they would sacrifice children to Molech, or Moloch, however you want to say it. And that's what Target means. And that's what they would put. They would put the sacrifice on the bullseye. And that's what Target is, a bullseye. It's just sick. All this stuff's sick, and it's worked into our culture in every form and fashion. And then this arrow points to the gold in San Francisco because it's the Golden Gate Bridge, because we're going into their golden age. That's why, and it just so happens that San Francisco is one of the, San Francisco is one of them that are playing in the Super Bowl in Miami. I mean, are you kidding me? That's not a coincidence. I'm going to show you more non-coincidences that are crazy. So Kansas City in English ordinal, simple English gematria, basically, where k equals 11, a equals 1, n equals 14, 12-2, or 122 is 12-2, which is the 12th month, the second day, which is the day I'm talking about. This is going to be more proof that February is the 12th month. You have it right there in Kansas City, in English ordinal, and normal simple gematria is called as well. 12-2, 12th month of February, which is really 12th month, and the second day is right here. And it just so happens to be that San Francisco is 122 as well, or 12-2 as well. That's impossible that both in the Super Bowl have the same exact English ordinal of their cities. I don't think so. That's impossible. I got more impossible that links to this as well. Now look above it. Okay, this is not on the 50-yard line. This is on the 30 and the 20, and they're upside down. So it's not as obvious. But guess what? Remember I said 12-2? What's 12? 1 plus 2 is 3. And then 2 is right here, 2. 3-2. Now, okay, this is a big thing I've been getting into as well. And I'm going to talk about this more in my next video. But 23, they're so into 23. I think 23 is many things, but it's also 3-2. It's backwards and it's forwards. But 3-2 is 12-2 as well. And that's showing it right there. Okay. Now, check this out. Miami is 45 in English ordinal. And then it happens to be Super Bowl 54, which is 45 backwards. Oh, that's just a huge coincidence. No, that's no big deal. Well, Miami in reverse English gematria, or English Sumerian, however you call it. Because remember I said English gematria is basic gematria, simple gematria times 6. Each letter is times 6. But if you reverse the order, so instead of Z being the 26th letter, it's the first, and A is the 26th, and then you times all those by 6, you got 54. So Miami, and this is a big cipher right here, reverse English gematria is 54. So Miami is 54, and of course you get rid of the 0. Miami's 54, and Super Bowl 54 is in Miami. That's just a massive, huge coincidence, because the numbers on that is impossible. It's so far off impossible. It's impossible. Okay, and then let's look at the stadium in Miami, the Hard Rock Stadium. So much to this. Oh man, I can't even cover everything because I would have a 3-hour video. I'm gonna cover more in the next video, but I'm just covering this section of time, February 2nd, on this video. Look at this. This is an altar of sacrifice. Okay, this is in the Old Testament. This is what they make for the sacrifices that they've made in the past and they're going to make in the future. Does this look similar to you at all? Kind of a squarish or a rectangularish altar of sacrifice with 4 horns on it. The bronze altar for burnt offerings was all this dimensions, and it had 4 horns. Look at that. altar of sacrifice right there. And then, like I've said before, Hawaii is a big sacrifice island in the center of the Ring of Fire, which is a birth. A Ring of Fire is when a birth happens, when a woman has, down there it's just all on fire. And then Kilauea actually means a voice. That's what literally a Kilauea means, and that's like the voice of the God. In the Old Testament, it's God's voice from the sacrifice, His voice in the Holy of Holies or whatever, and on the altar, and whatever. In the enemy's version of it that's sick and wrong and twisted, he has a voice, is his evil voice to his followers when they sacrifice stuff to him. And these four volcanoes on the Big Island, and the Big Island, like I said, looks like a big goat's head. It's the horn, goat's mouth, and this is the neck, and this is where it's going to be slit right here, and this all would fall into the sea. And this has been bloodletting, or lava that looks red and everything, bloodletting at the throat for a long time. Right here, this is the throat area, and this is the voice. This is where the voice box would be in a sense too, the sound and everything. Okay, and this is the voice of the four-horned altar, like there. I mean, are you kidding me? That's an altar right there. Whether there's going to be a sacrifice right there, or it's prepping this, and it's white, it just happens to be white, for purity. I mean, are you kidding? It's just nuts. This is all predictable. These people are so predictable, it's ridiculous. Now, as far as exact time, that's hard to predict because you don't know what they're going to do when they're going to do it, of course. But look at the side of it. Looking at the sideways view, you see this. This looks like these bars here. It looks like something, and then these spires right here. What does it look like? What could it be? In fact, it looks like the Golden Gate Bridge, right? Or some kind of suspension bridge with this bridge thing being in the center here. Like I said, look at the actual stadium, and these are called gates. Why are they called gates? Why are they called gates? Well, I mean, remember Golden Gate Bridge? We're talking about the Silver Gate and the Golden Gate. These are called gates in sports. Again, things have higher meanings than people even realize in English and in our culture that you even realize, because they're controlled by people and demons behind the scenes. These are called gates. And here, does that look a little bit like the Golden Gate Bridge? The Golden Gate, yeah, it just so happens to look like a suspension bridge right there. Just a little bit, no big deal. Or how about the Silver Gate over in Brooklyn Bridge over here in New York? And then this was years ago where they did this enactment of the Anubis at the Silver Gate. A lot of people don't know about this. More evidence of iPad Goat, showing stuff that is going to happen in the future and showing all kinds of false flags. This is an example in iPad Goat of Anubis going across the river. And this is at the Silver Gate, for example. And notice how the Brooklyn Bridge is silverish looking. I mean, the Golden Gate Bridge is red. I forget, reddish orange for a reason. I forget what it was, but it represents the Golden Gate. I'm not sure why that. I can't remember what the red thing means, but anyway, or orangish color. But it has to do with the Golden Gate. And then here he is right there, and on this barge going through New York. Does that remind you of something? Any of you that have seen iPad Goat 2? I wonder, what could it be? So here we go. He's at the Silver Gate. This was striking. When I saw this, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, if you can't see this, I mean, you can't see that iPad Goat. I've basically shown over many, many videos. There's been over 50 false flags predicted ahead of time in iPad Goat 2. And that was made back in 2012, but it was in pre-production in 2006, showing Trump will being president, showing all these different things, showing hurricanes by name in the video, hidden, all kinds of stuff. Okay, and I'm showing a lot of this stuff. And so it's very valid. iPad Goat 2 is very valid as far as the elites using it as some kind of cartoon, right? See, people go, oh, it's just a cartoon. It's a cartoon that shows the future. I mean, are you kidding me? And it's contrived. It's not prophecy. It's because they're all in the same club and they're behind the scenes and they're all working for the devil and they're working for demons who have put all this together. Okay, have falsely created, in a sense, all these things that have happened in the future by showing it in the video in the past. And here's this guy. Here he is. And then here's iPad Goat. Here's, there's the Anubis on the front in the boat. And, here he's on a barge. Here's Anubis head. He's coming out of, oh, look what he's coming out of. Look at that. Look at where he's coming out of. See, he's coming out of that. That's a female area. And look at that. Look at this right here. Oh, he's just right. Oh, he's coming out of a female area. Oh, there's two of them right there, but there's one here. It's pretty clear. Look at that shape and everything. Here he is. There's Anubis head. Oop. And then here's Anubis head right here. Looks similar? I wonder. And then there just happens to be right in his ear on this side, there's 13 little indentations right here on his ear. See the indentations over here. But there's 13. 13. They love 13. Like I said, they love the apple roll is a 13-day period, I believe. I've been shown by the Lord, I believe. So whenever that is, like I said, a lot of these things have been shown certain things, and I don't know what exactly they equate to all the time. And I'm guessing, and I'm looking at this. It's my grand guess. My 7-7. Anyway, my grand guess is, and I look at 13. Now remember, I'm talking about February 2nd, or 2222. February 2nd, 2020. Okay, what's at the very front of the stadium, right here, at the entrance of Hard Rock Stadium, is Dan Marino, number 13. Number 13 right there. Look, I said 13 is even on the Anubis head on the boat. And there's Mr. Marino, actor extraordinaire, right? Mr. Actor, like all these other actors. Oh, do you have any idea? Like, I'm in Colorado, and what's his name again that won the Super Bowl? I mean, I know this stuff. I used to be a Broncos fan before I realized all this stuff was completely contrived, and they won Super Bowl 50. I mean, and with Peyton Manning is what I'm trying to say. But he was number 18, and 18 is 6 plus 6 plus 6. I mean, it's just nuts. And then there's the white horse, which is the Bronco. And then this has all been contrived because this is the new home. Denver is the new home, if you didn't know, for the CIA. And it's been since 2006, I believe. They moved from Langley. If you didn't know, they moved from Langley because they know there's going to be these massive tsunamis going to hit both coasts eventually. So they moved years ago from Langley, Virginia, to Denver. And that's why DIA has all these, hidden places underground. In fact, I interviewed a guy. He didn't want to come on my video, but I actually interviewed him. I was driving some clients, and then he ended up being one of my clients. And he worked there at DIA, Denver International Airport, which is now called the Den, like the Serpent's Den. And there's this big lighted serpent thing there. There's Blucifer, the big blue horse, the apocalyptic horse that's at the entrance of DIA and everything. There's all those nasty murals and everything all over. I mean, I know all about them. I've been there. I've looked at them. I've seen all this stuff. And DIA, underneath DIA, is several levels. And this guy I interviewed, literally, I asked him all kinds of questions. And I originally asked him because I found out he was actually injured. And then he's not a contractor anymore, but he was a contractor when DIA was being built. And oh my goodness, he was talking about these massive steel doors, and people unloading gold in there. And this was years ago. And he knows of a highway from DIA to another section I'm not going to talk about. And they had, a lot of these guys were in these massive, huge armored trucks that were bigger than, they were like armored semis, and they came down there, and they were several levels deep. I won't even get into all that either. I'm going to be pretty, but he had all this information, and he confirmed several things that I knew already, and he added some more to my understanding about what's going on at DIA. But anyway, that's the new headquarters of the DIA, is one of the hubs of the Denver hub of the CIA, and it's underground. Because when all this stuff happens in the United States, they're going to have place underground. And then there's all these underground highways that connect and everything. It's really crazy. But back to this. Here's Dan Marino, and he's number 13. And so the Super Bowl, like I said, is on 2/2/2020, February 2nd, 2020. And the 13th day after that is February 14th. And it just so happens Dan Marino, number 13, is standing right in front of this place. It's just a big coincidence. More coincidence upon coincidence upon coincidence upon coincidence. And again, so from the Super Bowl day of February 2nd, and then that being the first day, and the 13th day after that is February 14th, and Miami Dolphins is 14-2, or 14th day of the second month of February, or 142. That's a coincidence. In fact, Miami, like I showed earlier, how it's 45, and this is Super Bowl 54, Miami's is more than meets the eye with Miami. It's mirrored as well. Look at Miami. Look at how it's Miami. So me is twice, and then there's an in the middle, which is 1. So it's 22, 1, 22. I mean, it's mirrored exactly. And what's the mirror? However you look at it, it's 1. If you look at 1 being the center of the mirror, it's 122 or 22-1, or ultimately it's 1 is 12-2. And February is also, like I said, the 12th month, the second day. So Miami happens to be 12-2. Another way of looking at this is, however you look at Miami as being 22-1, 22, you just add the 1 to either side and you get 22-23 or 23-22, or but what's easier to understand is 22-23, and you just merge those together and you have 2-2-3. Like I've shown before, like I'm showing now in many different ways, 2-2-3 shows up again. Okay, so this is how they do this stuff. It's very intricate, and so it looks so. Remember, Miami is 45, but it's also a mirror of 1-2-2, which is 12-2. So this is what I showed you before of 12-2, and how it's here, 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 here. Anyway, here, here. It reminds me of a movie. Here, 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 here. Here, here. I watched too many Disney movies with my kids. Here, 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 here. This is 3-2, which is 12-2, and then here. So we got 12-2, 12-2, 12-2, 12-2. I mean, are you kidding? Here, 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 here. Seriously. Now, then let's look at the Super Bowl Roman numerals. Again, we're back to Rome again. The Colosseum, Roman Latin, Roman calendar, Roman numerals are in our culture. I mean, how many of you use Roman numerals? I mean, this stuff is contrived and forced into our culture, and you just accept it. It's just LIV, live, but backwards it's vile. You think this is on all coincidence? I'm telling you, it's not, and you'll see. This Super Bowl will be very vile. Vile, V-I-L or V-I-L-E, but vile, V-I-L is the same thing. It means horrible, vile, awful, low, or based, or debased, either way. It's vile. It's another more signaling of the vileness that's coming. I'm telling you. And then vile, backwards of Super Bowl, L-I-V, in Roman numerals, vile, or L-I-V backwards is vile. V is 22, I is 9, 9th letter of the alphabet, L is the 12th letter of the alphabet. So it depends on how you combine these numbers is what you get. So if you keep the 2, and then 2 plus 9 is 11, and then that's a 12, you have 2-2-3. Or if you just keep the 2, and then 2 plus 9 plus 1 plus 2 is 14, you have 2-14. In the actual thing is February 14th. In the Roman numerals, if you don't look at them as Roman numerals, if you look at them as Roman numerals, it's 54, and which backwards is 45, which has to do with the elimination of Trump and the elimination of the United States, and they're tied together. Or look at them as what they really are, letters in the English language, and it ends up being backwards 2-14 or 2-2-3, the attack day. Are you kidding me? And both 2-2-3 and 2-1-4 are both 25. 2 plus 3 is 5, and then 2, 1 plus 4 is 5, 25. And I've been talking about 25 is very important to them. And they've been signaling that lately. December 25th, the eclipse. January 25th was the last time I thought something could happen, and nuclear and everything. 25, which is also 52 backwards. 52 was big. I was sharing what 52 is in many ways. It's just, this stuff is all over the place, people. Now, I just want to finish this with asking for your help. I need your help, guys. I like to make this a little light sometimes because it's horrible. This is also horrible. It really is. I mean, it's been nonstop horrible for me thinking about this for 5 years almost. And it's tough. And this last time has been really tough. I had a really tough time. I was walking at a lake near where I live and just struggling and not getting the information I wanted, not sure about things and worrying about people. I was so thankful, so thankful that the Abraham Lincoln got safe to port. I didn't think it would make it there. I really didn't. I thought with all the programming and everything, I think it still could be attacked, but I hope it was all turned back. I don't know. I really don't know. And I've been asking the Lord for answers, and I haven't been getting the answers I want as quick as I want them. You know how that goes sometimes. It just, if you know the Lord, this is how it goes sometimes. Sometimes it takes a long time to get certain answers that you want. And thankfully I've gotten some more recently, but I was really struggling during that day. And then this guy that I know and I shared this stuff with a couple years ago, and he got on my YouTube channel recently, and he just said I'm a false prophet and all this stuff. And he didn't try to, I have his number, he has my number. He didn't even try to talk to me first. He went on, and I got rid of his comment because it was just ridiculous and mean and stupid. And then I'm walking, I'm having a horrible day. I'm walking, just spending time with the Lord for hours and trying to get information, not getting the information I wanted right away and everything. Even though I got a call from some random person, and I didn't even include that in the slide, but it ended up equaling 12:9. And it was just like, what? And so God was pointing me back to 12:9 again. And it was so bizarre. I could have included that in this. I just didn't. I can't include every single little thing. And this guy shows up there. I mean, he lives in that area. And he shows up there. And then he just comes at me. And I mean, it was crazy. And then later that day, I'm literally talking to a friend of mine, my brother Chris, who's awesome. We've connected through this, through my channel and everything. And I was talking to him about this guy, and I was just really upset with what was going on. And I was having a really bad day, and this guy shows up, and he just comes at me with this stuff and saying I'm a false prophet and I'm hurting people and everything. And then I'm literally talking to my friend Chris on the phone, going into a supermarket in the area, and there's this guy again. And in the same day, just hours apart from each other. I could not believe, and I was just having a hard time. This has been so hard for me at times. Other times is better, but then haven't been sleeping, and I have severe sleep apnea, and I've been trying to do things to change it, and it's just been an uphill battle. It's been very difficult. So I ask for your prayers. I need your help, please. I need your prayers. And anyway, it's a long story to get into everything. I need you to share these videos, especially this video and the next video, as much as possible with this current time frame, with more people, so they just know ahead of time what eventually this stuff's going to happen. I'm just guessing when it's going to be. I'm doing my best to guess. Okay. And I need your support financially as well. And I've just done my best to put this stuff together, and this is my life right now. It's just what I need to do and what the Lord's calling me to do. And I keep asking him for other things, or should I work more in doing something, this or that, or what, drive more or whatever, and he's just has me keep doing this. And because our time is so short, what's going on with the coronavirus, the peace plan, I mean, if you're not seeing that things are happening, wow. I mean, you are so blind. I cannot even believe that. And hopefully my videos show even more. But I ask you for your support and praying for me and my family, my babies, sharing my videos. And then I ask for, if you can give it all. I'll have a link in the description box of my PayPal. I just ask if you can give it all. I really appreciate that. My family could use it. We need it. We need anything you can give. I would appreciate it on any level. So thank you so much. And this is all from my heart, giving out this for all of you. And I just wanted to make it very clear that, this is about knowing Jesus. This is about coming to the Lord. And this is the only safety we have, the only peace we have, the only safety we have. The only chance we have out of this craziness that's coming is Jesus. So I implore you to come to him And eventually you're going to see more and more that are going to show up that's going to be horrible. And, we're at the really weird time in history where it's about to transition into just craziness. And it's all been planned. So I implore you to come to the Lord while you still can. Come to Jesus. You call on him and he will not, he will not fall on deaf ears. He will come to you. He will help you. So I beg you to come to Jesus. So I thank you. This is Exalted Lamb 1, over and out.